One day were Mitsuha outskirts of town near an abandoned warehouse training some her whip when suddenly she hears this strange sound and some explosion. And she was just like, what was that? She was curious to know what was that causing this explosion. So she slowly followed the sound, and just only about several hundred feet away, near a clearing in this forest, she saw this big cloud of dust, and she finally walked up to this place when where she found this crater, and in the crater she saw a helicopter, and she wondered what this helicopter can be coming from because she didn't hear any sound of a helicopter in the air. So she wondered, where did this helicopter came from? As she slowly walked closer to it, it started to make a sound, and then suddenly, just at the moment when she's so close to it, it started moving, and it somehow transformed to a big robot, and she stepped away far away from it, and this robot just stood up, looked around, and just really was curious where in the world happened. And suddenly, this robot noticed Mitsuha and pointed a weapon against her, and she used her whip against the weapon and somehow managed to throw him, at least this robot, to the floor, to the ground. And he was furious. He was stood up once again and pointed one of his weapons against her a second time. But this time, he said, "Where am I? And what are you doing? You don't know who I am?" But she was very quiet. She was really silent. "Answer me, or I will blast you with my laser." But she was silent still, until suddenly, "My name is Mitsuha, and I'm a sky ray. And who are you?" "Who I am? Don't you know this mark?" And he pointed his own shoulder, where he could notice a sign of it's like a skull. No, I had never seen it before. "I am Spinister of the Decepticons, from the planet Cybertron." And okay, I had never heard of Decepticon or Cybertron. Are you an alien? "Matter speaking, yes." "So what brings you even here? And how did you even end up here?" "I was fighting a battle with this, just as some Autobots. And then, I don't have to explain to you. You're just near a human being." "I'm not a human being. I'm a Sekai. Sekai. And Sekai is just still another word for human. No, I'm an alien, like you. But you were from this planet? Yeah, I crashed here, years ago." And, of course, he just stopped laughing. "Ha! You're not another, you're just pretending to be an alien." And then she used her whip, and suddenly it wrapped around his arm, and he was about to break it. He felt this pain or something in his arm. "Stop that! You're breaking my arm off!" And then she's, "If you don't listen to me, I will use it." And then, "Let me go!" And she somehow made made this whip loose off his arm, and he just looked at her. But then suddenly, he fell to the ground, almost exhausted. Are you okay? Yeah, I'm just. I'm just feeling tired. That's all. This traveling this portal took a lot of my energy. But before he could finish, he just collapsed. But a moment later, he woke up and he sat up, closely looked around, and tried to figure out what happened. But then he saw that Mitsuha was just sitting there and just sitting there. What are you doing? Sitting here? What am I supposed to do? And I mean, if anyone finds out you are here, you probably would not be much unlucky if I didn't. You believe I would just telling anyone that you are here? Well, wouldn't you? No. Why would I? Now, please, if you could tell me, what is Decepticons and the Autobots? Why do you want to know? I'm just curious, that's all. I don't have to tell you. No, you don't. Huh? I don't have to force you to tell me anything, you don't. That is your free will. But I have just one question though. And what is that? If you were able to transport from your planet and here, how would you be able to go back? Hmm? Have you even thought about that? And for one moment, she was right. Spinister had no idea where to do, because even he had the technology or any an ability to go back to Cybertron, but he had the slightest idea. And he started feeling that his power source in himself was starting to get lower. He needed new power or he would die. And he noticed that Mitsuha was actually looking at him. Are you in need of power or something? Yes, but I can survive much longer than I need. You know, if you need power, I can supply with that. How? There is a warehouse nearby. You can stay there, and I can able to supply with your power that you need. Why are you doing this? I'm just being helpful. That's it. You don't have to. You don't have to do anything back to me, though. And of course, as a deal, she took him to this abandoned warehouse. And luckily for him, she managed to find some cables, power cables, and give it to him, and he somehow drained that to restore his power. While he was doing that, Mitsuha just sat near close by and just watched him. All right, huh? I will tell you. Tell me what about the Autobots and the Decepticons. All right, at least I can do that. And then he started telling her the truth about the Decepticons and the Autobots. They have been fighting against each other for millions of years of power against his leader Megatron. But it turns out this planet Cybertron didn't even exist. But he figured out that the travel from his planet has somehow transported him not only from different planet but from different dimension. And in that meaning, he was trapped on Earth. There was no way back for him to go back to his own dimension or his parallel universe. And now his powers once restored, he decided maybe that he can just do what he wants. But then Mitsuha did ask him, if you can't go back, why just not stay here on Earth and do what you want to do? Like what? Be another be another big villain or bad guy? I will easily be tracked down and defeated. You don't have to be a bad guy. Oh, you mean I is going to be like an Autobot? Ha! Good luck with that, girl. Human girl, or what do you would call yourself? And what is your name? My name is Mitsuha, and you are Spinister. Spinister. Hmm. Interesting name. Uh, oh, yeah. No matter. And if you want, Spinister, you can stay here. And if you anyone any company, I can come back here. But you don't have to tell anyone I'm here, right? You have my word. Even if he had no idea if he could even trust her. But what other choice did he have? So, after that, when Mitsuha had left, Spinister sat in his abandoned warehouse, wondering about her opinion, like leaving as a bad guy and to be a good guy, to be a hero. In his mind, being a hero made him feel sick. It made him feeling weak. He thought being a bad guy was the true power, the mean true of all. But he didn't know how much things would be changing for his life from now on. From time to time, Mitsuha came back to this warehouse, and they started talking more and more. And suddenly, one day when they were just talking, there was this big explosion nearby, and Mitsuha went there to say to look at what happened. And Spinister, he could just not sit there and wait for when she come back. For some reason, he actually started enjoying her company, at least for some level. Had someone to talk to, or at least not go insane. But then he snuck out of this place and saw that Mitsuha was fighting against some criminals who were trying to robbing a bank or something. And Mitsuha, she was trying to stop the robbers, but she was knocked out. And for some reason, something snapped in his mind. Spinister transformed into a helicopter and flew to the area, managed to capture Mitsuha before she fell to the ground after the building she was standing on. And then he transformed to his Autobot, his Decepticon form. And people was terrified. But especially the robbers had no idea. They thought this was another Siraki warrior or weapon or something. So they start firing, but the bullets had no effect at all. He managed to subdue them all and made that even stronger. For some reason though, after that he managed to knock them out. He captured them and put them in some sort of prison or like a cell, and people starting, and he even picked up Mitsuha and asked her if she was okay. People around had started gathering and started taking pictures and recording what was happening, and he saw that and he took off with Mitsuha. They actually went to the abandoned warehouse, and only a moment later, after they arrived, she woke up. She had no idea what just happened. He revealed then what's happened, and she was a big surprise that he had actually changed his mind, go saving her as a total stranger and someone he thought was a weak being alive form. And even that he said, "Look, I only did it only to save you. Even though you're not considered as a friend. No, I would consider you a companion, some sort of that. But he even didn't know that all those recordings soon went on the media. Local news wondered was talking about this huge robot who captured the bank robbers and saving Mitsuha. And where did he came from? And what is it? And what is his purpose on Earth? Soon, the following other follow, Sakurai asked Mitsuha if she had any idea who this huge robot were. She tried to deny that she had any knowledge about him. She said that he just appeared in this during its robbery, and that he maybe thought maybe that something she couldn't even make up a good lie. You know, so she explained that he was just this robot was just there and took her by saving her and just leaving her somewhere and just disappeared. But at first they didn't believe her. But soon some local people noticed Spinister at the warehouse. They didn't attack him, but he thought he was betrayed by Mitsuha. She arrived and explained to him that she had no idea how these people found him. She tried to explain, but he refused to even listen. But she told him that she would never betray him. She has never done anything like this than before. And for some reason, he actually started believing her. So Spinister walked out from this warehouse that was completely surrounded by police officers and even some of the military. But he said, I don't want any harm. All I want is to be left alone. And Mitsuha was standing in front of him and saying, don't harm him. Don't hurt him. He's my friend. People started believing her. After all, he saved her and he captured robbers. And the public, they actually liked this idea of this giant robot, a new hero in town. And for some reason, Spinister was somehow starting to like the idea to be a hero. Even at first, he didn't even want to be one. So, after a while, he started to get accepted as a hero among the public. But during this time as a hero in town, he spent a lot less more time with Mitsuha because he thought maybe that she didn't want to be with him. After that he revealed himself. She started to appear less and less around him, and he thought maybe that she was embarrassed. But it turned out that she wasn't even embarrassed. She was just busy with her life, and even something had happened in her life. She had fallen in love. And even the other Sakurai had even noticed that. But she refused to even reveal who that she had fallen in love with. But the one that she had fallen in love with was actually Spinister. But when she did find him in this abandoned warehouse, which he had made at his home, they talked. They just tried to catch up to what's happened recently. And then she revealed her true feelings towards him. And he was just a bit first laughing at her. And that made her heart broken. And just ran away. After that, Spinster, just after that she had left, Spinster realized she was serious about this. She went to the park, which is to be alone. But Spinster found her, and tried to talk to her, but she refused to talk to him. He just said, I didn't even thought you even meant real about this. I'm sorry if I'm laughing at you. And Bolden decided maybe that he said, I'm a robot and you're a secretary. How would people react if we were dating? Have you imagined that? So, how much did the average consider to do so? So, Sakurai Mitsuha, she said, I don't care if people think this is a bad way for us being together. I didn't mind that. Are you even serious about it? He said. And she said yes. So from that moment, they decided to give it a try. First, they kept it a secret, but it wouldn't take long for their relationship to be revealed to the public. And soon, the entire town's media were talking about this. Soon, the entire public was aware about their relationship. Of course, even if there were some parts that people thinking a robot dating a Sakurai, that's just crazy. It will not work out. But Mitsuha and Spinister, they didn't even care. In fact, they loved each other so deeply strong, so they decided to be with each other. And after they had been together for about 5 years, they decided maybe they was trying to have some to make it official. So they decided to get married. But at first they thought maybe no priest in town would even do this, performing it. But surprisingly, there was one priest was willing to perform the ceremony, which he did. Even that he was a little bit surprised, but ever since Spinister had been showing to be as a good hero, and that Mitsuha was also a hero. And only 2 years after they had been married, Spinster and Mitsuha wanted to have their own family, but there was just one problem. He was a robot, and she was near human being. It was not possible for them to have anyone. So they decided to adopt some kids, little children from a local orphanage. They adopted a boy by the name Tatio and a daughter by the name Kimiko. Kimiko and Tatio was really surprised having Mitsuha as a mother, even having Spinister as the father, which surprised them both, but they were really excited. But even at first they were really still shy, even didn't talk to most of the parents. But after some time they opened up and they accepted Mitsuha and Spinisters as their parents. Even despite their different nature, Spinster as a Decepticon and Mitsuha as a Sakura. To them, doesn't even care if they're two different beings, two different worlds, or even, matter of speaking, two different parallel universes. But to them, love is love. Even for Spinster, it took him quite some time to even get used to being in love, or even come to the concept of love in the first place. Because he thought in his mind, friendship, love, is true weakness. But after realizing his feelings towards Mitsuha was so strong, he couldn't even ignore it anymore. And even Mitsuha, she revealed her feelings towards him, and she was just happy that this their relationship would work out. And even have a family with him was something that she actually enjoyed. And even though that both the parents were heroes in town, they were actually very proud to have heroes as parents. And from that moment, Mitsuha and Spinsters were just happy to have a family of their own. And for that, And this is how Spinister and Mitsuha found a true love and got a big family. The end.